So my name's Sean, and I was a weirdly tall child. Just to give you some examples. Like when I was a toddler, my mum used to push me in the buggy, and random people would just walk up and go, "Oh, what's wrong with them?" And when I got to 12, I was 6 foot and shaving. So for all intents and purposes, I looked like a paedophile in the playground. Do you know what I mean? But then when I got to my 20s, very topical subject. I wasn't your dad's type, Lube. I'm sorry. But when I got to my 20s, I met this girl, Brittany. She was lovely. But she was 5'1", and I'm just over 6'4". So I don't know if any of you have ever tried to hook up with someone more than a foot shorter than you. It was no barrel of laughs. I essentially had to fold myself while trying to not have a back spasm but remain sexy simultaneously. It was like an elephant trying to ride a cat. It wasn't a good look, guys. But yeah, and I've got a new guilty pleasure. It's Stacey Dooley. We got any Stacey Dooley fans in the room? Someone just went, no. Well, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Dooley, basically she's from Luton and she does hard-hitting documentaries on drugs, gangs, and incidentally some lovely adverts for Nice and Easy. But it's the way she presents. It's like she's been plucked from Love Island and placed in these intense situations, because she just says things like, wow, I ain't seen nothing like this before in my life. And the guy beside her will just be like, well, Stacey, this is an industrial meth lab. I'd be worried if you had seen anything like this before in your life. And in another episode, she met this guy from Chicago who was a former gang member, and he was telling her about how 65 of his friends had been murdered, and her response was, yeah, it's not on, is it? And it's just so bizarre, but I love it. But I love Louis Theroux as well. Has anyone seen the one he did on polyamory? Putting Louis with polyamory is like bringing a vegan to a barbecue. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just so awkward, but it's amazing to watch. Do you know? But the best bit is when he met Brad, Trish, and Brian. So he got to know them, and then inevitably he goes, "So I'm just wondering, how does it work in the bedroom?" Now, for all the tension behind this question, he may as well have just looked at the camera and gone. So they go in. And it's exactly as awkward as you're imagining. It was a double bed and a single bed shoved together. And it was Brad, Trish, and Brian spooning. It was like a BL Trish. And there's just and Louis just at the bottom of the bed staring down at them. And he goes, "So, what happens when it gets more physical?" Now, this is where Brian pipes up and he goes, "Well, I can't last very long. So when I finish, I go downstairs and play Xbox. But Brad can last a really long time." And the camera just cut to Brad and he's like... And then Brian goes, "But I'm real good at foreplay and Brad isn't." The camera goes back to Brad and he's just like... It was so weird. And Kim Kardashian is now doing a true crime podcast. So it just went, what? It's the natural progression, sex tape, celebrity, crime fighter, Batman was exactly the same. Did no one see A Dark Knight and Robin? No? But can you imagine, though, if you're on death row for a crime you didn't commit, and you look down the hallway and there's Kim Kardashian walking towards you in a dress made of duct tape and condoms, and she's your last hope? Fuck that. But I'm getting older now. No, it's true. It's true. And I'm getting worried about my teeth. They're fine, but I'm at the stage now where I feel like they suddenly won't be. Do I could be munching an apple carefree, and then the next I look like a meth addict or Scottish, It's not to say all Scottish people have bad teeth. Some Scottish people have false teeth, But my dad's sister Nellie, my aunt, if you will, but only by blood, she's one of these people, she thinks she can do anything. And in one way, I really admire that confidence, but in the other way, it's very, very dangerous. Let me tell you why. She works as a receptionist in a dental surgery, and a guy came in one day and he needed a tooth out, but the dentist had stepped out. Now, Nellie did what any responsible receptionist would do. She did it herself. So she put the guy in the chair, numbed the left side of his mouth, but the phone rang. So she went to answer it, because in fairness to Nellie, she is a good receptionist. And then she came back and she pulled out the tooth from the right side of his mouth. Okay, generally gets more of a response than that. But just to catch you up, she numbed this side but pulled the tooth out from this side. Yeah, did I lose you? Yeah, I know. And she didn't lose her job. Empty reaction, I love it. To be fair, it was Ireland in the 80s. You know, Ireland's moved on a lot since then. You know, it's not as religious. We have a gay Taoiseach. Nobody gives a shit about U2 anymore. It's great. It's a totally different place. But I watched Taken the other day, and it was that scene, you know, where the daughter's under the bed and she's freaking out, and she's like, Dad, they're here. What do I do? What do I do? And he's really cool, calm, and collected. He's like, you know, do this now. Describe what's happening. And, you know, he's really cool, calm, and collected. And I was thinking, if I was in that situation and I was under the bed and I rang my dad, I'd be like, Dad, they're here. What do I do? What do I do? I can just imagine my dad. He'd be like, oh, fuck. Right, I'm going to put you on to your mother. Now tell her exactly what you just told me. Guys, I've been Sean. You've been lovely. Thank you very much.